Xavier, Georgetown. I mean, Georgetown has really struggled to say the least. I think that's a nice way of putting it. Has not won a Power Five game in a long time. Xavier came out tonight, though. This game wasn't a blowout by any means, but it was kind of within distance. But I mean, RC, what was your biggest takeaway from Xavier's performance? We'll start there.
I mean, they scored 102 points, right? I mean, they did everything they needed to do offensively. I don't know if that says more about them or says more about Georgetown. Now,
Because they
I
gave
do
up
think this,
89.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
Georgetown guard play is good, but I think defensively they're to be had. They're going to struggle stopping people, and they did stop Xavier. I don't know if we learned much about Xavier, other than I do believe this team will be better in the Big East than I think people predicted they would. Um, I like their balance. I mean, they got five guys averaging double figures, and that's hard to imagine. So that gives you leeway when one guy has an off night. And tonight, everybody was going. They shot 60 something percent, 69%, I think, in the second half. That'll win you a lot of games. And again, it's hard to learn that because they also gave up over 50% as well. So, like Sean said it after the game, after his interview, talked about how they need to work on defensive effort. I think he's going to get after them. They'll improve on that, but offensively, they're going to get some people.
Yeah, I think he's probably excited about a bad defensive
Right,
performance and a win because he gets
right,
to get on him about it.
right.
Yeah, the balance is impressive. Boom, locking down the point guard spot was huge. I think coming into this year, we saw them run to the NIT championship last year. It was like, all right, front court's pretty settled to Fremantle and Nunji. They got a bunch of wings, guys that they can figure out there. Colby Jones emerging as a star. But it's like, do they have the point guard? Is it going to be Claude the freshman? Is Boom going to settle that after coming in from UTEP? And he's like all Big East caliber now, 17 and 4 per game. He's efficient. He kind of controls the game. Like late when they're up 10, they just gave it to him. He dribbled around for a while, ended up creating himself a good shot. They feel very comfortable when he has the ball, and that's important for a team that was a question mark. Now that it's completely answered.
Well, it's interesting to me too, and RC, you spoke to the balance. 27 assists off of 41 made shots tonight. I mean, you're RC, you gotta love hearing that if you're a coach.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. It's you can tell it's their DNA and how they play and how Sean wants them to play. I think you just see it. They're sharing the ball, different guy every night. Obviously, Boom's just it's taking. He solidified that point guard spot. We had question marks about that coming in. I think we can lay those concerns to bed. I think he's taking that and run with it. He's settled the team down tonight. Even when Georgetown tried to make a run, he went on a personal like 5-0 run, 8-0 run, get him right back, put the lead back up in double digits, and they just cruised away. I think they're for teams that struggle the way they do in the Big East. I think they're going to be a team that we're going to look up come February and be like, damn, I didn't know Xavier was going to be this good. I think they'll be there in the end.
I have a hard time not making this about Georgetown because I think they're really easy to play against right now, and
Yeah.
a lot of offenses are going to look good. At some point, the color commentator said, like, Xavier's going to get everything they want. It's just whether they make the shot or not. And that they made a lot of shots tonight. They shot over 50% from three, but they're not stressed when they're taking it. It's like every finishing of a possession is an open shot or like what they wanted in the post. Georgetown just makes it kind of easy on you. So I'm excited about the Xavier offense, but I think a lot of offenses are going to look good against Georgetown.
I'll say this to you guys. I was saying this when I watched the game. I was shocked there wasn't that they even played the game. I mean, we started the program. I made the toast to Louis Orr. He has been a part of that program the last 6 years. So I was shocked. Maybe that's just me, just being emotional about it. But I was just thinking that I know Patrick Ewing is not all the way there tonight. And you can say whatever you want about different games, but I know that was like his first hire before anybody even thought about hiring anybody else with him. I mean, I know their relationship and what Louis Orr meant to him, and for him to come out tonight and coach, I honestly was just shocked that they were even there. I know those guys played with a heavy heart, and I know they'd want to win that game for him. It's just that I couldn't imagine what everybody on that team and wore that uniform was just thinking about today.
That's a good point, RC, because at the end of the day, like this is it's a tight-knit group family program. I
Right.
mean, and it is something that weighs heavy on you, especially when you're together with that family fighting every
Right.
single day in these games.
There's not a player or coach on that team that he hadn't had a relationship with for an extended period of time. I mean, he's been there for 6 years. I don't care if it's a super senior transfer like everybody. So it's we know how bad Georgetown has been and has played and as inconsistent they've been. And I just thought, just speaking on today, aside from Xavier, that was just a tough deal to play. I just thought that there would have been more consideration to maybe postponing the game or something like that. I was just really surprised that they had to play this game. To be honest, I just think that's something else that most people don't think about. Because when you look at their schedule, I don't know when they're going to win another game. I mean, I'll ask you guys this: at UConn, at DePaul, Butler, and stop me when you think there's a win. I'll start again: at UConn, at DePaul, Butler, a healthy Villanova, a healthier Villanova, at Marquette, Seton Hall, Villanova, Xavier.
Nope.
Oh, in case y'all didn't hear me, I said stop me if you thought it was going to.
I'm not stopping you.
Well, here's the thing. I'm curious to see. I think if you catch DePaul on a bad night and Georgetown's playing well, I think you might have a shot to make that an interesting game. But to your point, there's nowhere where you're like, that's a win.
Yep.
There's nowhere.
And if that game was at home, I would have been like, yeah, they're going to get them. At DePaul, and DePaul's playing better, I can't say that that's a win. And you're talking about all they're going to hear about is that 0-20 again from last year in conference play. And then they add on that tonight. And that's just going to build and build and build. And you don't want to get into February still hearing that noise.
Well, and to that point, I mean, Jeff Goodman tweeted out tonight, Georgetown's the last 26 high major games, and they've lost all 26 of them.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm surprised he had enough characters to fit all the teams on there.